Hello everyone, happy Sunday. I think it's July 13th. 13th. Anyway, so I wanted to show you, in case you're new to my channel, where Trump lives in well, he doesn't really live here, but his little, I have a Trump troll doll. And I put a push pin there because, it fits so perfectly. And here's the meaning of his actual last name, Trump. Nickname for a large man from Middle High German rump, trunk, body, or for someone who is bent or misshapen. Bent, crooked. Yep, crooked. Don the Cornholio. That's where he lives. And that's my intention for his future. Or at least all the truth to come out. But I'm only showing you that because that's where I'm coming from. But now his base, that's another thing. And Mary sent me a really good question. Mary Huddleston wanted to know if the Epstein files lies, will that be will that be his kryptonite? And so I have to add with his MAGA base. Will that be his kryptonite? Will the Epstein, because we know they're hiding so much. I'll try to remember to link a Wired.com article about, the auditing of the, well, there's a minute missing and there are weird chops and cuts and things to the prison, where Epstein was being held. Where was he? Was he at Rikers? Oh, I totally forget. Anyway, you guys know Bill Barr's all over that, right? Bill Barr is one who is just as guilty as Diaper Dawn. And but anyway, so I'll try to link that file the article if you want to look at that. But the deal is, we just have to remember, we have asshole Alex Jones sobbing on video in front of, he's just such an idiot. And definitely on Ozempic because his head's not a foot thick fat anymore. It's normal size. He's got his little goatee to cover up the saggy whatever underneath. Anyway, I'm sorry. Squirrel. But anyway, he's sobbing because all this is going on with, Trump and because he had Alex Jones has so much integrity, and he starts crying. He's literally crying and coughing, and he says I think I'm gonna throw up because Okay, so a lot of MAGA has been watching for years, since the late 90s, Alex Jones. He's like the current day, he's the other guy that died from lung cancer and was Rush Limbaugh. Remember? Trump gave him a medal. So anyway, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan is turned against Trump because of the ICE raids, which are, ICE, I'm going to call in quotations because they're really actually bounty hunters at this point. But even Steve Bannon is stomping on Don Cornholio because he campaigned, I guess, on releasing the Epstein tapes. I thought he campaigned on mostly the border BS. But looking at the MAGA base and how they will affect Trump, that is my query here. And I'm using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot, but I have trimmed the deck down and added my astroglyphs for that, helping me remember the health meanings when I do those readings. Oh, goodness. Right there. Yeah. This is a good question you had, Mary. Okay. You know, I mean, I've been sitting in his stew of bullshit for so many years, since he came down that stupid escalator, that I tend to just be oblivious to what everybody else has gone through or gone through. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to what I've gone through, but nothing surprises me. But this does. This does. If it's just this thing that gets MAGA to turn against him, and it's already that he already has, what is it, 67 or 69% of people who don't like what he's done with that big bill, that big ugly bill. So there's that. And then let's add this on top of that. Okay, let's add the Epstein issue that he just wants to, you know, it's basically erase it all, forget it, it never happened. So the forces in motion where he is sitting based on this issue is no victory. 6 of Wands is a fall from grace. Now, I know you guys are going to say, he doesn't have any grace. Well, this is a high position and being seen when it's upright. When it's reversed, he's seen falling off his high horse. Okay, there's that. Horses in the tarot represent power and vehicles, just like in the, you know, the chariot's a vehicle too, but pulled by horses in those days. These days, when the tarot was invented in Italy, around the 14th century, we didn't have cars. So, fallen from his high position and ability to move forward. There's no moving forward when this card is reversed. This is a card of failure. This is a card of people who have lost their confidence in him. And his big challenge with the world reverse, now when, you know, with the position of being the crossover card, you know, it's the challenge card. Well, the deal here in this situation is, because the challenge card I read is a reversal, but it came through reversed. So this is him being stuck. The external forces are now out of his control. Well, they have been for quite some time, but he's lost even more control over his base. And so he's stuck. And he's stuck in vicious circles of bad choices. Okay. Yeah. What's he sitting in? Well, he's holding on like the greedy little, you know what he is. He's just greedy. When this comes through reversed, besides being greedy and materialistic and like a Scrooge, this is being seen as a fraud. He's sitting in his fraudulent reality. Yeah, and the MAGA base, MAGA, nah, the MAGAs, they feel robbed. Okay, I had no idea that many of them voted for him just because of this one topic, this one issue. That's interesting. Or maybe it was a combination of issues, but this reading is only on the Epstein files. So, okay, let's keep going. When it comes to his past, yeah, this is the Seven of Pentacles is basically just his return on investment. It's upright. He expected this to be some kind of profit or reward, but this is the result. All of this is the result of the past bad choices. This is his reward. This is his karmic reward. What's hanging over him with the sun is now it's been revealed. So this position down here in the Celtic cross is a place of control, at least the way I read it. It's a place of control where the person, has some ability to, like steer the rudder of a ship or a boat in a certain direction. Not anymore. And what's hanging over him, where he has no control, is that everyone is going to see the truth. Revelation. Near future, more hauntings, more sleepless nights, lots of anxiety over this. Oh no, what do I do? And this is also a card of guilt and regret, nightmares, cruelty coming from others. Okay, from his base. On the inward level, what's he attracting? Well, this has to be just a lack of self-confidence, but also maybe he loses more of the women in his base. I wonder about that. When it comes to people in his, that support him, we have Christy Nome. We have in fire signs. Christy Nome's a Sag. The Queen of Wands is fire sign women. Okay. And it could be really just his base, because this is what he's attracting on the inward levels. But so the women, I would just say generally, the women who voted for him have lost confidence in him. And they were seduced, but there are a lot of them who were very moralistic and judgmental. When we get this card reversed, we can look at people we can look at it as being someone who's very judgmental. And so maybe his evangelical Christian, not really, base, that's what's going on. Because Pam Bondi's the one covering up for him mostly, but she's a Scorpio, so I feel like this has to do with his base. So he's losing their confidence. Externally, they're also noticing everything from the past, and they're also noticing his dementia. The Six of Cups reverse is definitely about dementia. But also, too, seeing him when he's out, how stuck in the past he is. And they're also seeing their misplaced loyalty. So, wow. Okay. Long-term future, more whistleblowers will be coming through with the Page of Swords reversed. And, put a fork in it, man. That's it. Face plant. He's done. He's done. Ten of Swords. This is the thing. Okay. Yeah, and if I were to keep going, yeah. Breakups. Lots of breakups. Just for shits and giggles, let's look at the two on the bottom. Yeah, so Ace of Swords, I'm sorry, what am I saying? Ace of Swords, King of Swords. Yeah, they're wanting justice. They're really wanting justice. They're wanting the truth. That's interesting. And they're raring to go with it. They're raring to go. I mean, he could, with the combination of this being the long-term distant future, the Page of Swords, and all this information coming through, and the way he goes and just golfs all the time, and on the taxpayer dollar. So if they get pissed at him, and they are, we can tell, and they start listening to people who are speaking some common sense, then they're going to start understanding, oh my goodness. And this totally goes with the astrology. We have Neptune in Aries, so this could be a new gateway. We haven't had Neptune in Aries since the Civil War, and it's yeah. Or Uranus and Gemini, I should say. So Neptune and Aries, we have actually, what am I saying? We haven't had Neptune and Aries, 164 years, 165 years ago? I don't know. I suck at history sometimes, but when I see cards like this, Page of Swords reversed, I keep getting the feeling of whistleblowers and leakers and gun-toting, gossiping liars, and they see him as all talk and no action. So there's that. And this is also my card for hypocrites. So they're done with the hypocrisy, is what I'm getting here with the Ten of Swords, because the Ten of Swords is definitely collapse and ruin and put the nail in the all the nails in the coffin. This is being stabbed in the back and betrayed. This is the outcome for him based on this issue. And with the King of Swords over here, we can expect more, information to come out that has to do with the truth and, legal scholars, legal competent people who can talk about it. And then it spreads like wildfire with this Knight of Wands. That's really amazing. This could be somebody, this King of Swords could be somebody who's very ambitious. But if I combine these two, very ambitious to bring the truth out. Now, what's his name? What's his name? Bondingo? Yeah. Is it Bondingo? Is it Dingo? Is it like Dingo? It is. I think it is. Oh my gosh. I don't know what sign he is. I have no idea. I think Steve Bannon's a Cancer. Joe Rogan, I have no idea. Alex Jones. You know what? I have his chart around here somewhere. I think he might be an Aquarius. That could be him. That's interesting. He's definitely like off his. This is kind of his energy. Wow. And I wonder if he might have a bigger base than Joe Rogan, or equally, maybe between the two of them together. I have no idea what sign Joe Rogan is. That would be something interesting. I'll have to look at that. But Bondingo is the dude under Kash Patel with the FBI, and he's the one that might just be getting the hell out of this. This very well could be a deputy FBI dude. That could be Dan Bondingo. Could be leaving, and that's just another little tidbit. But we can read in different layers, and this can also be what's his name? Alex Jones. I'm almost positive he's an air sign. So, okay, that's it. Surprising outcome for me. I was going to use the Kipper too, but I won't need to. But thank you so much, Mary, for this question. Okay, bye.